The morning I first realized my HOA president, Evelyn, was capable of true sabotage, she stood in my driveway, glaring at my roof like it was hiding a bomb. Her perfectly manicured fingers stabbed the air, as if she could rip the solar panels off my shingles with sheer willpower. "They're hideous," she declared, her voice carrying across the quiet cul-de-sac of Willow Creek Grove. "They clash with the charm of our community." The irony? Half the neighborhood was powering their TVs, air conditioners, and Evelyn's precious koi pond fountain off the energy my panels fed into the grid. I leaned against my truck, sipping coffee, letting her tirade bounce off the manicured lawns. Evelyn loved the sound of her own voice. It filled every corner like an overzealous perfume spritz. I didn't argue. Not yet. People like her don't want dialogue. They want domination. Watching her teeter in her designer heels on my uneven driveway was entertainment enough. When she finally paused, I asked, cool as ice, "So, Evelyn, what's your solution? Should I run my house on a bicycle generator?" Her lips thinned into a razor-sharp smile. "Remove them, or you'll rack up fines. The HOA board has spoken." She clutched her tablet like a scepter, the queen of suburban tyranny. Let me back up. My panels weren't just about cutting my electric bill or bragging at block parties. I was part of a utility pilot program, feeding a shared grid that kept our whole street stable. When the city's aging transformers groaned during August heat waves, my system stepped in, keeping lights on and appliances humming. Evelyn's nightly wine fridge runs. My panels. Her glowing garden lanterns. Also me. But she didn't know that, and she didn't care. Armed with nothing but her ego and a vendetta against anything unattractive, she wanted them gone. That night, I dug through my files. Permits? Check. City approval? Check. HOA bylaws with a vague clause about unsightly modifications? Unfortunately, check. The board could find me, but forcing removal was a gray area. Evelyn, of course, would stretch the rules to fit her whims. I imagined her in her pristine living room, drafting violation notices like a dictator signing decrees. By the weekend, things escalated. Evelyn called an emergency HOA meeting in the community clubhouse, a glorified shed with plastic chairs. She stood at the front, wielding a slideshow of my house, each photo angled to make my panels look like a sci-fi monstrosity. "Blight," she cried. "Eyesore." One brave soul in the back muttered, "They don't look that bad," only to wilt under her glare, a weapon that could topple giants. I waited until her speech wound down and raised my hand. "Quick question," I said, casual as ever. "How many of you lost power last August?" Hands shot up. "And how many had your AC running anyway?" Confused glances. "That's because of my panels. The grid's held together with spit and hope, and I've been propping it up." Silence. Evelyn's jaw tightened, her mind scrambling to twist this against me. "Even if that's true," she snapped, "your house looks like a lab experiment. We have standards." The board, spineless as ever, nodded along. The vote passed, 30 days to remove the panels or face mounting fines. She smirked like she'd already won. I walked out, pulse steady, face blank. Outrage was her fuel. I had something better. Patience. Here's what Evelyn didn't know. The utility company had upgraded my system. If those panels went offline, the neighborhood wouldn't just lose backup power, it'd lose the stabilizer keeping the ancient lines from frying. She wanted her perfect aesthetic. She was about to get blackouts instead. 2 weeks later, under threat of daily fines, I scheduled the removal. Evelyn practically danced as the crew arrived, waving at neighbors like she'd saved them from an alien invasion. She even brought iced tea, as if this were a festive occasion. I stood by, arms crossed, watching the panels come down. Her victory grin grew with each one loaded onto the truck. That night, a storm hit. Without my panels to buffer the surge, the transformers blew like firecrackers. At 8:47 p.m., Willow Creek Grove went dark. Fridges died. Evelyn's koi fountain stopped. But my house, still lit, thanks to a small backup array in my garage, just enough for essentials. I sipped coffee, brewed from my humming machine, and watched Evelyn's silhouette stumble onto her porch, yelling into her phone. Neighbors spilled into the street, flashlights flickering, voices rising. They were learning cause and effect the hard way. I stayed quiet. Let them connect the dots. The next morning, the neighborhood felt like a war zone. Generators growled. The HOA's email blast, signed by Evelyn, promised a swift fix, but it didn't mention her role in the chaos. I watched her march door to door, collecting signatures for some new crusade. When she reached me, she didn't bother with pleasantries. "Do you know what you've done?" she hissed, as if I'd personally unplugged the grid. I sipped my coffee. Made coffee during a blackout. Her eyes narrowed. "The utility company mentioned a stabilizer being offline. Explain that." I smiled. "I'm no electrician, Evelyn. I'm sure they'll sort it out." She scribbled on her tablet and stormed off. By noon, the HOA's social media page was a battlefield. One neighbor, Tom, posted, "Didn't we always have power before Evelyn forced those panels down?" The post got 25 likes before she deleted it. That night, at another candlelit HOA meeting, she doubled down, blaming me for the outage. I countered, pointing out I'd complied with her demands. "You got what you wanted, and now the grid's toast." Funny how that works. Tom backed me up, calling her out for her power trip. The room turned. Her allies wavered. The war was shifting. I didn't wait for her next move. I called the utility company. An engineer confirmed my panels had been the neighborhood's lifeline. "We warned the HOA last year," he said. She refused to renew the program. Said it was tacky. I nearly choked laughing. That sparked an idea. I went door to door, explaining how my panels had kept their homes running, how Evelyn's obsession caused the blackout. Neighbors listened, anger brewing. By week's end, the social media page was ablaze with calls to oust her. Evelyn tried censoring posts, but screenshots spread like wildfire. At the next meeting, the crowd turned on her. "Vote her out," someone shouted. The motion passed. Evelyn stormed out, leaving her tablet behind like a discarded crown. But I knew her too well. Defeat wasn't in her DNA. 3 days later, a letter from the city's Building and Safety Department arrived, accusing me of an illegal solar setup. The anonymous complaint included photos snapped from Evelyn's driveway. I laughed, knowing my permits were ironclad. The inspector came, checked my paperwork, and shrugged. "Whoever reported this wasted my time. You're good." Evelyn, lingering nearby, deflated when he waved her off. But she didn't stop. Soon, floodlights lined her yard, blasting my house like a prison yard. I filed a light pollution complaint, and the city shut her down. Then came her boldest move, a lawsuit claiming my panel removal caused the outage, spoiling her food and spa enjoyment. My brother-in-law, a lawyer, saw it as a gift. In court, he dismantled her case with utility records and her own emails, proving she'd ignored warnings. Her suit was tossed, and my counterclaim for harassment moved forward. Neighbors cheered as she fled the courtroom, her facade crumbling. But Evelyn wasn't done. Eggs splattered my driveway. Pizza deliveries I never ordered arrived. My mailbox was crushed by her SUV, caught on my cameras. In court, the footage sealed her fate. Damages awarded, warnings issued. Still, she persisted. On Thanksgiving, another outage hit. She screamed I was draining the grid, but the utility engineer publicly blamed her for canceling the stabilizer program. Her credibility shattered. By Christmas, the HOA reinstated the program, and neighbors installed their own panels. Evelyn retreated, a ghost in her own home. Then, on New Year's Eve, I caught her at a utility pole with a wrench, ranting about restoring order. I called 911. Police took her away, her screams echoing under the fireworks. Willow Creek Grove healed. The grid stabilized. The HOA focused on community, and my panels became a symbol of resilience. But I still glance at Evelyn's dark windows, wondering if she'll return. People like her don't vanish, they simmer, they scheme. If she comes back, I'm ready. I've learned her game, and I play for keeps. For now, I sip coffee under my solar lights, the hum of the neighborhood's power a quiet victory. So what do you think? Was I too harsh, or did Evelyn deserve every consequence? Could this have been resolved without escalating to lawsuits and police? And how far would you go to protect your home from someone like her? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more stories of neighborhood wars gone wild.